is the Play No Games podcast. We the hardest working podcast in Portland, Oregon, man. Play
No.
game. Play
No.
games. Podcast
Slash show.
Welcome to the Play No Games slash podcast slash show. We are slash. I'm not gonna front. It's been a long ass day. Nah, long ass week for your boy Bob. I'll just say this. If you like what we're doing, and you want us to grow, we have a major, actually serious project. We are building a studio. Where that studio will be at will never be disclosed. But
Is this official? Is this breaking news?
this is breaking news.
Because we've thrown the idea around, and you've been like, "I like it," but nothing's been confirmed. We're officially putting the stamp on this.
We're gonna put the stamp on this.
Sheesh. Hey, y'all. We need some money. We need some money, y'all.
At least for like an IKEA desk and some lights. That's all.
Drop that IKEA price in there.
No one will ever know the location of where this studio will be at, but it will be all of ours.
All of ours.
Even yours, fans.
Yes.
Come and visit.
Within reason, they gotta have a wristband and pay some money.
Come to the merch shop.
We gonna have some merch in the fall.
Man.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna be building a studio. Hopefully, we're gonna, it's gonna a lot of love is gonna be placed in it, and our main man, Cassian Vasile. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Is going to use his wonderful talents, and obviously me and AJ, we're gonna pitch in, and definitely we've talked about it, and that's why we need those donations. So Dollar Sign Hero Bob, hey, look here, we're not trying to take your money. We're not Derek Jackson. We're not Jesse Smollett. We're not even Joe Biden at times. We're not trying to take your money. We want to actually help you grow.
We are not the IRS.
We sure ain't that. Because we're trying to put you on a higher vibration, and that comes from you learning from self-growth. That comes from you knowing what your purpose is, and that comes from knowing different social situations and getting yourself ready for that relationship.
Sick.
Yeah. Usually AJ would take over this part, but we all kind of talked beforehand, and before we kind of get into some fun today, I think it'd be very appropriate for us all to kind of talk about what we play no games about. And I think what we play no games about is child safety, and I know people are gonna have an issue with this, and I'm fine with that, but I'm just gonna say, not gun safety, not gun reform, gun awareness. I can at least just say for me, what's been currently going on in our society, in our first world society, America leads in mass shootings when it comes to places at the movies, schools, churches, and we lead by like an astounding rate, which is crazy. Like I think we're like 300 mass shootings out of all the nations, and I think it's a damn shame that our kids have to be subjected to adult issues. And what I always tell people a lot is when we get older, we're literally adults and we have little kid problems. So I don't understand the adults in the room, and even myself included. Why can't we just come together and build that better future? So with all that being said, we're gonna play no games about what's currently going on with the mass shootings that's going on. And I guess I kind of want to ask everybody here, how do y'all want to ease into this? Do y'all want to kind of like just give like a quick synopsis? I can do it, or how y'all feeling about wanting to talk about this?
I don't know. Which one of you feels the best?
We can just
knows the most about the situation.
I don't know too much. I know a little bit about it.
I can go. I have no problem.
Go ahead. Tap into it.
So in the last couple of weeks, there's been a shooting in Buffalo. There was a shooting at a church in California, and there was recently a shooting in Texas. And what happened pretty much in all of those situations is someone was upset about a situation going on in their life, and they took that rage and anger out on people. The one in Buffalo was racially motivated.
Wasn't the one in California racially motivated too as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The one in California was racially motivated. That was, I think it was a predominantly
black church.
not black church. I think it was an Asian church.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
and Asian church.
And then what's going on in Texas is it was another school shooting. I don't think that one was more racially motivated. I think it was more so delusions of grandeur. And I guess I just want to talk to you guys all about when it comes to, do you feel like as a society we're kind of numb to these mass shootings currently right now?
I'll start. I don't feel like it's numbness. I feel like we keep joining this cycle of propose this, propose that, propose this, and nothing gets done, and then it goes away, and then it pops back up again a few years later or a few months later or whatever the case may be, to where we get back into these same situations that we were in before. And I think it's like a cycle of nothing truly getting done because it's been such a hot topic for over the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I feel like it is a divider in our country. I think gun laws are they are a big divider in our country, and I think there's going to be people who are going to say they're just trying to take our guns away. There's going to be people that are going to say, like, we need to get rid of these. And so it's like trying to find the sense of what is right and what is wrong. And so, like, being able to sit down and have these conversations is going to be kind of critical, because I think there is no right or wrong behind having a gun, but there is a right or wrong between taking a life. And that was 18 children, or it was like 16 children, and the person himself and the grandma's
in critical condition, unless
A couple adults too.
Yeah. So like
grandma's alive.
So like, but my thing to that is, it's like, that's when it becomes, there's no question behind situations like this. And for me, like, working with kids, being in that situation, I don't know what I would have done, truthfully, even in like a security role. Like, what do you do when the shit hits the fan like that, right? And it's like, there's only so much, in my head I can say, yeah, I'll take a life for a life, whatever. But in that situation, it's like, what do you do? So I think that is the tough part behind all of this too as well.
I super duper appreciate Koss. What you?
Yeah. Like you pointed out, are we becoming numb to this? I think to a degree we are, because like Arthur said, it's almost like a cycle. It happens, stuff comes up in the news, people make talk about it, and then eventually it just goes away because nothing happens. But also like the fact that all these shootings, have like numbers to them now, like 18 people here, 30 people there, so on and so forth. I think we're not putting names, we're not putting faces to the to the real casualties that are occurring.
Absolutely.
And I think that's how, like, the way the news covers it and everything has made it seem very numb. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, yes, I do think it's become very numb, especially in this country, versus if you look at any other country, if something like this happened, it would change everything. I think it would create a huge wave of reform in politics and in in culture aspect as well.
And I think to what you just said too as well, like culturally specific, like, our country as a culture is built up on this sense of violence. And so I feel like, yes, the numbness is there, the awareness is there, but it's like, like we were saying, like, there's only so much we can really control in that situation. It's like, yeah, we can speak out and demand and put rights and put people in those positions to try and change policy. But it's a part. It's crazy to even think that it's a part of our culture. But like, mass shootings have been going on in our culture for a long time. Mass killings, I should say. That's the foundation of our culture. That's the foundation of the U.S. Like, when you break all this, we've been mass killing folks, and we've just called it different terms. And now the fact that anybody has access to a gun, almost, so to speak, that's the first thing that people are going to now, just, from a thought perspective.
I think for me, like the most like difficult thing for me to like stomach is, and I think this is like what I have like a problem with, just like how our current like world is constructed in the first world, where like I can have an understanding if where I'm like people are like they wouldn't like there are people right now in our society that don't like that me and Cos are close or friends or like they look different. They look at us differently walking down the street. I've known this. I've experienced this. Whether I shared this with you or not, where I'm like, it's as long as they mind their business, or if we patronize a business, we're still customers. They're still that. And I guess my issue with a lot of different things and why I feel like this is just like, I think it was pretty much a quote I posted, and it was like, the person who's committing or doing these things are like monstrous acts, but we are truly the monsters because we're truly like watching a monster do this over and over and over again. And I guess my question is kind of like, why can't we as society get together and just compromise? And the reason why I bring up the word compromise is, before I kind of get into like more schematics of the shooting, is because a lot of people, and AJ, you kind of bring this up, people see this as a red or blue thing. And I guess I kind of want to ask you, this is just more so opening it up, where it's kind of like, why do you think it's so hard for, I'll just say Democrats, moderates, Republicans to sit down and put down a baseline compromise bill? And I mean like a compromise bill is we just get background checks. Maybe there's like mental health background goes with it, because in Japan it's like they do interviews and things like that. Why do you think it's so hard to even get a compromise? We're not going to the extreme or saying no guns, and we're not going to the other extremes to the other end of the spectrum. Why do y'all think it's so hard for people just to compromise?
To that, I don't even think, but for me I don't even think it's the people that own the gun that's killing. It's people who have access to the gun that are killing. And I think that is why I think it's such a great area, is because the people that are owning the gun are like, I'm not killing people and I own my guns, but it's like, it's not that the owner most of the time. It's someone who has access to these guns that this owner has. And I think people forget that. Like, a lot of these mass shootings, especially the recent ones, they weren't the owners of those guns that they were shooting somebody with or people with. They weren't the owners of those guns. And that's what we have, like, and I think it's a critical question that we have to ask ourselves, is like, how are we allowing people to have access to things they shouldn't have access to? Like, but it's like, that's something that we can't control. And it's like, it's a sucky situation because we can't control that. I can't control what Cost does at his own house. That's Cost's house. So whoever he has, let's have access to whatever he has access to, that's on him. That's his responsibility. And I think that is who the people that we have to go after and say, this is your responsibility because you allowed this person to take your gun and go kill all these people. And I guarantee you, if you did that, things would change. Things would change because now I'm responsible for something that someone else did. I think a lot of people will begin to start holding things a little bit tighter and protecting a little bit more.
Yeah. To kind of answer a little bit of your question here, I'll just be honest. I was raised in a very Republican house. Being Romanian, my parents went through communism, so they, of course, have politically the opposite. Every Romanian, every Ukrainian I know, extremely Republican. I'm somewhere in the middle, I like to say. But
I can vouch for this.
The reason I think there's so much pushback is a lot of like heavy Republicans believe if you give an inch, you give a mile. I don't agree with this ideology. I'm someone who has, we live in Oregon. This isn't a surprise. surprisingly though, it's extremely easy to buy a gun in Oregon. I don't know if either of you guys have gone through that process.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Yeah. For me, it was a 15-minute background check, and that was it.
Word.
I was in the gun store. I already looked online. They had it, the specific gun for sale. I knew I wanted. I went. I felt. I was like, all right. Filled out the paperwork. I was like, do you have any mental disabilities? No. Do you have any crazy thoughts in your mind? No. Like, you filled us out yourself, just like, you sign your name, you give your social security. I think you give your, you have to give your social security, everything. They're like, all right, we're going to run this. Go, feel free to look around. Before I could even get done looking at like holsters, they're like, oh, hey, we're done. Boom, out the door. 15 minutes.
You could literally purchase the gun online, go into the store. They do the background check for you as soon as you step into the door. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, you get the gun is there for you, waiting for you.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you have nothing, if you have no criminal history.
Oh, yeah, no.
No crazy anything on your record. They're like, oh, here you go. It's literally like buying candy at a grocery store.
It scared me how easy it was to buy it. And then from that day on, I was like, all right, now this isn't okay. I am someone who believes if you are the right person, you should be able to own a firearm to protect yourself. But at the same time, I think it's way too easy in this country to own a firearm because of that. I think like you said, I think there should be an interview process. I think there has to be a much more strenuous process to allow someone to own something like that, because at the end of the day, it's not like a piece of candy. It's not a toy. It can be used to take a life, unfortunately. And then especially, it's so different from state to state, which is the worst part too. It's something that makes our country great, that like each state is different, but at the same time, like you can go to Arizona and people will literally have an AR-15 inside a Walmart. Like you can do that.
You can open carry in Oregon. You know that, right?
Like outside of Portland limits, right?
It's
outside of city limits or whatever.
No, it's in. You can open carry in Oregon.
But just like a handgun, right?
So yeah, handgun.
Yeah.
Okay. But the only way to cover it is to have a carrier's permit. That's the only way you can cover it. You can open carry. Oregon is an open carry state. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what people forget too, is like knowing those gun laws in the sense of like, truthfully, everybody can have a gun and show it, but you know, it's not illegal to show it. Like you gotta, but you can't you can't take it into a grocery store. You can't take it into some public settings like a library or something like that. There's like some rules with it like that, but
no, but in other states you can have it on a holster, right? And visible for everyone to see it. What is it? I'm trying to think. What was I gonna say?
My bad.
And then now, if you want your concealed carry license, you can do it online.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something else that's terrible. You know, before you had to make an appointment. It had to be like you spend a whole day at like Bass Pro Shop or whatever. Get your, do like the quick little course, do the quiz, and now you can just do it online. Like takes like, I don't know, half an hour maybe.
Less than that.
To get your concealed carry license in Oregon at least. And yeah.
But with that though, you have to go to a gun range and prove that you can shoot the gun, which is the weirdest part about it, in order to get your concealed.
Okay. I appreciate and thank y'all for the education on that, because I think for me, a lot of people are tired of like, we'll talk about this and then next week we'll be like, all right, the next thing it'll be like, guy has 37 children, and then they'll be like, oh, is he really high value and all the other stuff, and then we'll move on, and then this happens again. And I think one of the things that really stresses like me out is like, I'm very system solution oriented, where it's like, for me personally, I don't want to take people's guns away. That's to me, that's just dumb. Like, you gotta be able to protect yours. I get that 110%. But the compromise of like, y'all just explain how easy that I think that didn't even take an hour. Of all the things you both explained that you could do to get a gun, I think you could do that in an hour, which is crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you looked online, knew the gun you wanted to buy, you could be out of there in 10 minutes.
And why do you think it's so difficult? And that's the part where I'm like, well, I'm not. The NRA is their own like whatever. But
the NRA is awful.
Yeah, they're their own. So
They're
how
a
do you
scam.
have these conversations to these people where I'm kind of like, we're not trying to take your gun. We just want maybe there to be like 3 different barriers. And then mixing in a little bit what you're saying too, AJ, too, is like, that's even going to another level, being like, if this is your gun using this, travesty, you paying some dividends.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was in the NRA, actually.
Really?
Yeah, a funny story. He hated it. He was like, these guys are scammers. No, yeah, the NRA is awful because they really take your money. And if you like try to get out of there, because he thought he was going to get some benefits from being part of it, with his limited English, he thought he was going to get something, maybe a gold coin or something. But no, you get nothing. And then like if you try to take out your card, cancel your membership, whatever, they like hold it for like 3 extra months. Like you have to like pay your dues as if like you're breaking a lease or something. Like no. So fuck the NRA. Honestly.
And to the gun point, you don't need to pass a background to have a single arm fire. It's like a
bolt
pin.
action type of.
Yeah, so like old school style gun, you don't need to pass a background check for that. You can just purchase that off the shelf too, which is even crazier.
And that, if you're good enough with it, you can shoot faster than like a single round like pistol or whatever. Like you can you could unload real quick with that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
I think for me, I'm just like really tired of like the adults. And I mean the adults, I just mean all of us being like, I can see like, even if I don't agree with someone or something, if it benefits like a group of people, right? I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, fuck that. Like, all right, cool. Because I live on this earth with other people and other animals. And
Cool.
No, good.
Oh no, go ahead. Keep going.
No, go ahead.
I literally was having this conversation with this dude I met. What's today? Tuesday?
Today's Thursday.
Well, it's Thursday,
Okay.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, yes. Wednesday? My days are off.
We're filming on an unusual day for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I smoked crack on Wednesday.
So anyway, I met this dude, this older white gentleman, and he he was talking about the same thing that you talked about, learning how to compromise with one another, work with one another. He's like, we have a hard time because everybody just wants to take from everybody instead of give because you have this good quality. Let me give you this because you have this and we can exchange that. Or you have this quality.
Yeah.
There's no exchange in the sense of United States. Like, it's all like, oh, you're going to give me all of these? Okay, I'm going to take all of these. Instead of like, you don't need all of those. Like, you can't leave that for somebody else to take too. And I think that is where it comes into it. It's like, I got to protect mine. I got to take everything else.
Yeah. I was going to say that's very much like an American trait. Like just to take kind of, it's kind of what this country's built on in a way. Just take and, always protect yourself, protect your neck and all that. Versus, if you look at other ideologies, maybe in Asia, maybe in Europe, a little more sharing of the wealth, a little more compromise.
Yeah. And I guess the sad part about it is like, then we'll kind of just look at, because like, I think so for me, because just catching up to speed, so the Buffalo thing, I purposely didn't see any of the Buffalo thing, but I was just like, I'm lying to you. The only thing I did saw is like the guy that went through the grocery store that did the hate crime. He just killed black people. Like, he let white people go, and he wrote the N-word on his gun. I only saw the gun and like some of that, and I was like, I'm not really gonna watch that. I didn't see anything much of like the church stuff, but I was happy that I shouldn't say happy. I don't say happy. It was good to see the church people come together, hit him with a steel chair, and restrain him from killing him other people. So that made me like, I'm like, great job, people. Fuck this thing up. Before the police came, and I think I will say the Texas thing, I think, kind of messed me up the most because my little niece, shout out to her, she'll probably never watch this, or her mom will never watch this. She sent me like her like 8th grade promotion speech that she's given, and like yesterday that really warmed my heart because I'm kind of like, She's growing up. She's speaking Korean now, so she speaks Latin, Korean,
Yeah.
English. Like she's total BTS little
Oh,
girl.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
she wants to go to Korea, South Korea.
You gonna take her?
Heavens no. But it just is kind of like put me in the situation because I think what messed me up was I was watching a couple of videos and I definitely want you guys' opinion on this. Is here's the messed up part about what happened in Texas is the police knew that this guy was going to the school because they were informed on the phone. And here the crazy thing about it is what I saw is they formed a police line in front of the school and they wouldn't let parents go through to the school. And let's add more sauce. So this is like during the shooting. Like this is during the shooting. Yeah, I'm about to this is I did my journalistic integrity unless I get new information. So during the shooting, right? During the shooting, some of the officers got their kids out of the school while it was going on. So that's going on. And then parents are trying to get in. They're saying, oh, we don't have building keys to get in. You need to wait. So while kids are bleeding out, kids are bleeding out and the cops are getting their kids out, other kids are dying. And then you tase a father who had the guts to like say, fuck this shit. They tase he's in a ditch. And then you have I'm watching other males be like, do I run over there, get shot in the back, get shot? And then my friend just sent me to this as well. He was like, the cops on the scene was like, we want you guys to scream or yell help while we're walking up. Why are you you know how many drills growing up when someone enters the schools, they say, shut the hell up.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you putting those kids in danger? And then someone I was talking with, they were like, oh, the cops wouldn't do that. I had a sheriff being like, yeah, some of our deputies went in beforehand to go get their kids. What kind of coward do you have to be to get your own kids and not any other kids? Like, I can understand you saved as many kids as you could and got out of there because you're every kid you have, that's another life you have to take care of as an adult. And if you can scoop 5 and get out, you cool beans. But the sure fact that y'all got your kids out there and then told other fathers, mothers, grandparents that, oh, we can't get in because we don't got building keys, that's some real coward shit. It's like, how is this a blue or red issue? They're kids. All their dreams are gone. I literally heard a father being like, I just told my daughter to brush her teeth. She's done. That actually fucked me up to bring it back because I'm like, my niece is graduating. I don't know what I would do in that situation because I'm like, I hear kids screaming. Y'all are making a whack ass police. Like, is that crazy?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. I haven't heard any of that until now.
And I'm not saying allegedly. Like, this is all journalistic information that I got on this. How would you all, I'm not even going to put y'all in this situation. Y'all think this is not a movie. These things happen. You have
So, I don't, like, that's my first time hearing that stuff too. And for me, it rubs salt on the wound, right? Like, I think I would have died that day trying to save my kid or other people's kids or whatever the case may have been, just because, like, it's innocent lives, right? Like, when it comes to, like, life and death, like, there's one thing that people always talk about is, like, don't touch the kids, right? Like, anybody else's life you could take. Don't touch the kids. And I think that is where, for me, I think my line is drawn. It's like, when you begin to start taking kids' lives, that's they haven't done anything in the world to even have a judgment or cast judgment. Maybe I have. Okay, cast your judgment on me, but don't take their life. Don't. They didn't do nothing to you, and I don't know, that it's sickening, man. Like, we live in a sick world right now, and for it to be to the point where people of innocence are being killed because of your sick values or mental capacity, that's selfish. Like, that's truly selfish to me. Like, it shouldn't be about having someone else suffer because you're suffering. It's like, how do we find ways to help those that are suffering? And we live in a society where I think we're getting better at trying to promote people that are going through stuff to get help. But obviously there's a gap somewhere in between that's being dropped because there's innocent lives that are being taken. And you know, this the kids hurt my soul. Like, the church, it hurt, yes. The Buffalo definitely hurt.
Tops, yeah.
It hurt, yes. But the kids really, like, that fucked me up.
I don't recommend anybody. I just don't recommend anybody like watching it because, like, yeah,
I haven't watched any of them.
I don't recommend watching it because that dad talking about his daughter, that pissed me off. And then watching the video of the dad in the ditch, and then because it's a highly dense, you know, Latino population too as well. It was just so very interesting. I guess for me, because I don't want people to think I'm like, oh, you know, I'm shitting on cops, blah, 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 and all this stuff. Every day, I make a decision. I'm not a doctor, but in the mental health professional field, I make a pledge. And even though it's not like it's not the whole doctor thing where I do no harm, but when I'm donning that role in my life, there's a still base layer of a line of respect I have to give to people that don't deserve it sometimes. And I'm like, there's a professional way for me to cuss you out, and there's also a sense of pride where I'm like, I'm in this role. When I sign this dotted line, this is my job. Like, we talk to kids about responsibilities. We're like, this is your job. I don't care if you're having a bad day. I don't care about this. This is your job. But when we become adults, I'm not talking about affirmative action. I'm not talking about all these other things where people could discriminate. I'm talking about you just purely doing your job because that's part of your job.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part where I don't understand. We're so blurred when it comes to, yeah, your job has to respect you and your mental health. It respects you and things like that. But, like, I expect my firefighter to have a base layer of respect for me. You're on the clock. If I cuss you out, that's a part of the job. Like, I don't know what more I have to tell. Yes, the public should respect all people when they're at work. I'm not trying to tell people to take disrespect, but depending upon what job you have,
You're going to get it more than some other people.
if you don't have the mental capacity, don't do it. Sometimes, I'll even say this, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, man, I really don't want to hear about people today. I got my own stuff. But you know what I do? I put my black ass in my seat and be like, you know what? It's not about me. This is the job I signed up for. So my thing is, I'm tired of people complaining about, I need these customers or I need these, you know, this is a public job. Your job is to de-escalate. Why is that so hard?
Mm-hmm.
You chose that job. If you want a less stressful job, go work at Wendy's. It's simple, 1 through 10. I'm just sick of it. Because we tell kids to do this all the time.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Stop bitching and complaining. If you're a cop, they going to call you a bitch-ass nigga from time to time, depending upon where you at.
Mm-hmm.
The last resort you should be shooting. And I'm actually a firm believer, and this is I kind of want to bring in Cost to as well. I'm a firm believer that I think you can shoot somebody in the thigh faster than you can blow the brains out. If I get shot in my shoulder or thigh, I'm going to, and I could be wrong.
Depends how close.
all I'm saying is I feel like
It's a situation.
sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent because
go ahead.
this bothers me. But cause one of the definitely things I kind of want as we eventually pivot out of this and final thoughts is I will actually say I really appreciate you because you actually are one of the people who kind of like changed my view on like gun safety, and I actually think that everyone, at least in America, should have a baseline layer of knowing how to operate and deconstruct a gun. And no proper gun safety. And then shout out to one of my old doctors. I was a person who I'm not gonna have any guns in the house. But currently, can't go to the movies, can't go to church, can't go anywhere without getting shot, or there's nothing safe. So I guess I want to ask for you, as a respectable, responsible gun owner, you speaking and actually like really switching my views. What would you say, or how should gun reform be looked at and approached at now?
Yeah. I mean, you talked a little bit about gun safety, and I just wanted to touch on that. It sounds like common sense, but unfortunately, a lot of people that own guns do not know how to like handle their gun. They don't know how to deconstruct it. They don't know how to clean it. They don't know how to maintain it. They don't know how to treat it with the respect it deserves. So I think that has to be part of the process with attaining a firearm. In terms of reform, I absolutely think there has to be more strenuous process for attaining a firearm. I think not just you, but you have to also look at your family when someone decides to purchase a gun. For example, if my father purchases a gun, I think like part of that process, they have to look at someone like me as his son, maybe someone else in my family, to also, to contribute to that decision, whether he does or does not attain the permit for that gun. Because like Arthur mentioned, a lot of times it's not the people who own the gun, it's the people who can attain the gun in those situations. So I think that has to come into the situation. It's definitely something that shouldn't be done in a day. I think it should take at minimum 2 weeks. But yeah, that's kind of where I see it. I don't know. I start to think though, is it a gun issue? It is a gun issue. But if we take the guns away, do you think people then will just start attacking people in other ways? Because I know like in England, for example, where like guns are harder to attain, there's a lot of stabbings. Do you think then we see that in our country? Do you think it's an issue with our country and like kind of how we are around violence? To kind of bring it back around a little bit.
Let's just say this. In my thoughts, it's very arrogant of just humankind to just think, and I always say on here, racism's never going away. It's just going to be more manageable. Eliminating AR-15s or people being able to get rocket launchers, it just limits what we can kill ourselves with.
Imagine if we just used rocket launchers.
This is supposed to be a wholesome segment.
I'm sorry. You mentioned that and like my head just went to
I have dark humor. I can imagine someone be like, yeah, have a rocket launcher, and watching them little niggas be like, oh, this is Call of Duty, being like, oh, God. But
don't make me pop the trunk on you.
Shit. I actually think you're right. I think stabbings will increase, but we can control stabbings. Like, all right, you stab. Okay, if you're a big public crowd, you're gonna maybe stab 2-3 people. Everyone's gonna be like, yeah, it's a knife, and then they're gonna be like, nah, well, it's gonna be scream. People are gonna be running.
Yeah,
and then you can disarm a person with a knife. More easier. And once again, because I keep saying this, just in case this gets clipped up, don't want to take people's guns away. Don't want to take people's guns away. I actually want to be a gun owner now. No. It's just, it was too easy. He's 18.
Yeah.
All right, going through, I'm not going to bring up the other piece because I feel like people are going to run with it. He's going through his own personal human issues. I'll just say that. And it's not mental health. If you piece it together, you piece it together. All right, let me go get a gun. If I was a gun owner at a store, I'm like 18. Why do you need that's my first question. Why do you need an AR-15 Oh, I'm about to go hunt some deer. Bow and arrow.
30-06.
Cascadable.
A lot of better deer hunting guns out there.
All right, if I ask you for,
you actually don't want to shoot a deer with an AR-15. It's not powerful enough.
oh, if I ask you for an AR-15, what do you think I'll be doing with it?
Two. You can hurt birds. That's always the excuse I hear. But in reality, you buy an AR-15 because it's fun to go target and practice shooting with it. That's why you buy an AR-15. If you want the truth.
Yeah, then they actually really like to shoot, and they're like they're soft. Like they shoot really soft. They're really nice.
The bullets are like this big. They're not. It's a 5.56.
Can't you get like different caliber bullets for it too as well?
Well, the AR-15 specifically is that 5.56. You can get them in like the AK rounds where it's like 7.62 by 47.
Okay.
Which are slightly bigger, but then again, even that, like you wouldn't hunt elk with that. You'd want a 30-06 or something. 308 is another round that's good for hunting, and those are all like long rifles,
sniper type guns,
bolt action. Type of guns.
Oh yeah, you're the one that you were teaching me about. That one had to, yeah,
yeah.
So I have to agree with what Cost was saying earlier, like being able to take time in order to purchase a gun. I think is important. I truly think like what you're saying, also like be able to clean, dismantle, put it back together, that whole process, and even if it's like before you purchase the gun. So say I want this 9mm handgun. Well, they give you a replica, the one that you can't shoot, and you have to, as a training process, maybe you have to dismantle it, open it, clean it, make sure you can do everything, the safety reason why, like, before you can even purchase the gun. Then they run your background check. Then they, like you said, test your family. See, like, does anybody in your family have this? Anybody in your family have that? Or I'm running all the background on all the people in your household that are 18 and older. Like, so then it's like, now it becomes more critical. I think it becomes more critical in the sense of like, you're still able to access your gun, but now if you really want to access your gun, you really have to take protocols in order to access your gun. Like, instead of,
you have to really like care about it.
Yeah. And really understand it and understand the purchase that you're making. Cause like you're saying, like I was, man, you can go in a day, come out with 2-3 handguns and
thousands of rounds,
go shoot up the city block. And
I have a slight, it's not even slight, I have a rebuttal to this. I get it. I see it. I understand it. I guess I look at it as like someone who plans to do something like this. They are very patient. Like,
these people.
Yeah, where I'm like, oh, okay, now I do this shit like quicker, faster. Like, I guess for me, what you guys brought up of if their family believes they should have this, and you know what, give us therapists more. Even though I gotta talk to my own field, because we gotta be truly unbiased and do the fucking assessment. Like, that's another fucking thing that we should do as therapists. Evaluations. What?
He spilled on me. It's all good.
Wow. That kind of guy, huh?
Wet lips.
Giggity. Anyway, but how do y'all... no, I guess for me, I think the psych eval and like the friends family reference is a big thing, because I feel like on a lot of these altercations, somebody knew.
Oh yeah.
And or if you don't have anyone who can vouch for you, that should tell you something all right off the back. We need you to get 3 people.
References.
And
3 references, 3 background checks, so on and so forth.
Now, if this person ends up using this gun now 1, 2, and 3 is also according to this reference sheet. So
I mean, like, think about like when you apply for your first job and you have to put references with their phone number and email, so like your company hiring you can go call them. That's just to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then you do a background check there and all this stuff just to get a job.
It's
A job
harder to
never
get-
killed anyone.
It's
Or,
harder to get a job than it is to get a gun.
Damn, that
Yeah.
might be the title.
It's harder to get a job than a gun. Actually, that's really good. Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna pick a Tupac, cue the Tupac music. That was gonna be the title for this episode, but I think it's hard to get a job than a gun now.
Yeah.
Take,
And then-
take the cake.
And unfortunately, also just something I want to say, it sucks. Also, it is state by state. It's different. Gun laws. For example, in Washington, if you own firearms, you are required by law to keep them in a safe. In Oregon, you are not. In Oregon, you can keep them under your pillow. In California, there are restrictions on magazine and capacity of magazines that you can have. It's like a 5 to 10 round capacity. I think they just approved that in Washington too. In Oregon, surprisingly, no capacity limit, or no, there's no capacity on magazines. You can have a big old
drum, baby.
You can have a big old drum. Yeah,
I
but-
don't understand why you need a 100-round drum. Period. But
yeah. So at the end of the day, it's a state by state issue. You gotta vote locally, and yeah, pray for the best.
I'll just say I appreciate, even though it's supposed to be a 10-minute segment, I appreciate the both of y'all dropping your expertise and just talking about the situation, because
I'm not an expert.
Well, I'll say expertise because you kind of know information and knowledge, because remember, we're trying to help people grow. I learned some stuff from you that I didn't know, and you could be definitely helping someone who may be considering.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I mean expertise in that way. And I think I definitely kind of want to end this segment just saying, rest in peace to those babies, rest in peace to those churchgoers, rest in peace to the black men and women in the market, because it was just senselessness. And I'll say 3/4 of it ain't mental health. Let me tell you that. Let me tell you that right now. So I just want to say rest in peace to them, and shame on us. Shame on us as adults. And it's just, Steve Kerr said it best. We got to do something about it. Like, the thought prayer cycle is done and over with. Like, what are we going to do? So that's all I wanted to say on that. I don't know if y'all had anything.
Yeah, no. Essentially, exactly what you said, man. Thoughts out to everyone that lost their life, and hopefully, we do something about it at this point.
I just hope that as adults, we can be adults instead of as adults be children about situations like this. Prayers to those families that have lost lives in the last few months, to gun violence, and for those that will in the future, because we live in a chaotic world right now. And if adults don't become adults, you'll have kids becoming adults. And I think it's a hard pill to swallow. So
I'm sorry I gotta say this. Because I'm actually triggered in the way that when you said that, and that story about the dad, right? He was going to go pick up his daughter, and one of the kids was covered in blood, and his daughter saves her best friend. She made one of the most adult decisions in her life. That bothers me. That she had to be adult. It was her and her friend. Wow. It's crazy. Man, we have to do better. We literally have to do better. That's why we do this. Yeah, we do it for the jokes. Yeah, we do it for, things like that. But we really want you to think about being balanced. You've heard, we very rarely talk about political things on here. You've heard about costs. You've heard about age. You've heard about me. We're friends, but at the end of the day, we don't agree on the same shit, but we still were able to make a fucking show.
Yeah.
We're still able to make a fucking show. I don't look at him any differently it just baffles my mind. It's crazy. So, to switch on the grander notes, Goss.
Yes, sir.
I just want to ask you a couple things. Do you watch the latest couple episodes?
We're switching gears here.
We're switching gears a little bit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Do you have any comments? Because you was talking to me about some stuff. You got any comments for me, man?
I had a good laugh out of it. I don't know.
Whoa, I don't know what you're talking about, man. What are you talking about?
I had a good laugh out of it. I thought it was funny.
Whoa, we got podcast beef? Damn.
I wouldn't say beef.
Whoa.
You can smell beef. I don't smell any beef.
Oh, you better brace yourself.
Oh, you talking about me?
Whoa, I don't know.
I don't know anything about beef. I'm vegetarian.
Oh, dang. He said he's leafy over there.
Yeah.
All right.
Robert loves to stir the pot.
I'm not even stirring the pot. What
He
y'all
always
talking
stirs the
about?
pot.
I mean, well, you started it too. You asked the question.
What?
All right, you want to catch people up?
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll catch everybody up. I'm just an innocent bystander in all of this.
You asked the question. You literally started it.
What are you talking about? So, see, this is why y'all got to keep up with the show. So we got a resident. What's a good
Jiu-jitsu?
No, what's a good UFC fighter? We got Logan Paul over here, right?
Oh my!
Yeah, Logan. Oh, okay.
He's not even a bad fighter.
There we go. There you go.
Compared to an average Joe, Logan ain't. a bad fighter.
See, there we go.
Yeah,
That's
an
funny.
average Joe.
Okay, we got Conor McGregor over here. This okay.
I
We got
love
Khabib
Conor.
over here.
Oof.
Oh, I went for the moon.
Say Max Holloway.
We got Max Holloway
There
over
we go, that's
here.
my
You know,
guy. Love Max Holloway.
if the reason why, because some people that do talk to me in flesh, they're like, "Oh, Cost, you can't Cost off the show." No, he had to go beat up people to get his anger out. So, so we didn't want
I come
to.
home more angry than I do when I leave most of the time.
We had to give him an outlet, and Cost, he does jiu-jitsu. And one time when he was on the show, we talked about, because if AJ and Cost would get into a beef or a fight, I asked who would win. And Cost, do you have any rebuttals to what AJ said about what he said he could do to you?
Oh, what did AJ say again?
Oh, hey man, I don't even know. Or AJ, would you want to remind us what would you do to Cost?
I'd like to hear it in person.
Oh, damn! Oh!
Wow, the beef got heavy in here, but I don't know about beef. So, no, I said Cost knows jiu-jitsu. So I would try and keep him off the ground, because he would definitely beat me in that aspect. I only know a little bit of jiu-jitsu, so like defense is kind of where my strong point in that. So I said I would definitely try and stay on my feet and use my hands and my length to beat him up. And that's really all I said. And
Oh wow!
I think he said something about in a life or death situation.
We
oh yeah,
going. We are
in a
going.
life and death situation, yeah, I'm winning. Yeah,
All right, all right. You know what? Yeah. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I don't expect a grown man to sit up here and say, "Yeah, I'd get my ass kicked by anyone." That's not how we're treated. That's not how we're taught as men. But to defend myself and my honor here, my Nindo.
Oh wow! Okay, Naruto.
I like the point you made about the jiu-jitsu. I think that's a really good point, knowing me. What I will tell you is, while I was in high school and growing up, I'm a brown belt in Taekwondo.
Okay.
I did kickboxing for 4 years.
See, I didn't know.
And two of the guys I trained with, one guy, Brian Neuro, was a professional fighter on the local ring. Another guy, Journey Newsom, out of Beaverton, just got his second win in the UFC.
Super dope.
So these are guys I know. I grew up training with. They're like 10 years older than me. They're like my big brothers. So if you want to spar, if you want to go to a gym and spar, we can totally do that. Stand-up grappling, whatever you want.
Hey, let's have the podcast there.
But yeah, I'm not the type of guy to be like, "Ha, I didn't know. Here's a leg kick, bow. Here's a roundhouse, boom."
This is why I never let him grab the back of my neck so you can get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm down. I'm always down to spar.
Yes. Wait, can we film the show from there?
If you find a place that'll let us film, I'll let you set this up.
Actually, I know a perfect way where we can settle this right now.
Oh my God, what?
Arm wrestle.
I don't arm wrestle.
I don't know. What?
No, that was gonna be fun.
Arm wrestle doesn't like
Oh,
solve
I know,
anything.
but it's physical though. Never mind. You guys take all the fun out of it. I was like, this would be great. You can arm wrestle, see who's the strongest.
I'm trying to think for a compromise here.
Kick each other's shins. No, don't do that. I don't know.
We do liver shots.
I think I could probably take a liver shot.
No, you can't. You're
Robert, you're gonna shit your pants.
And
It's not even like oh you're gonna shit your pants. Like it's like a human bodily reaction to getting like popped right and cleaning the liver.
Okay.
and you might be bleeding for a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay because I can beat all of you guys. So
Yeah, man. Maybe you can. Anyone on their given day. I say this. You can train all you want. At the end of the day, man, if someone has a knife, if someone has a gun, that training goes out the window. I think
he knows how I want to win.
Yeah.
Brass knuckles, sand.
Throw this. Yeah,
Throw the
That
sand.
makes me think of a Tony Ferguson fight. But like I think Joey Diaz, if you guys know Joey Diaz, the comedian, he does jiu-jitsu. And he was on a show, and he's like, the host was like, if someone comes at you, whatever, are you going to, is the Jersey side, are you going to come out? Is the jiu-jitsu side going to come out? And Joey's like, the gun's going to come out. It's like, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But, yeah. And again, also, if you get sucker punched, which seems like Robert's type of technique, if I'm being honest, you can knock out anyone. I think it's actually a trend right now. Not a trend, but it's an unfortunate happening in Australia and New Zealand where people just get sucker punched out of nowhere and
Really?
like they die. Because like if your body's not ready for that reaction, you get hit in the back of your head, and then you like fall and hit your head on the ground.
Oh yeah.
It actually killed. If you guys know Israel Adesanya,
That name sounds familiar.
he's
Was he a UFC wrestler?
he's the middleweight champion of the UFC.
Okay.
One of the guys that his training partner was killed that way, like in Auckland, and just in Auckland, New Zealand, where like no violence you ever see, barely knives are allowed.
Yeah.
But like people come and just soccer punch you behind, and his training partner died unfortunately.
Wow.
So
RIP.
all that at the end of the day, as you train in like combat sports and all this, you find that you really don't like violence.
Nope.
Because you see the worst part of violence.
Mm-hmm.
I was just at a jiu-jitsu tournament. I saw a lot of people with like hyperextended elbows, rolled ankles, people that had to be left not looking great, all this stuff. I'm not going to say stretchers, but definitely like slings, all this stuff. And you see that stuff and you're like, you see the reality of it and you realize like a lot of people don't realize what violence can cause. And I've had this conversation with other people that do like martial arts, and it's like the more you do it, the more you realize like, it's not worth it just to get in a fight.
And I think like going to that point, I think it's the same thing. Like the concept, like Floyd, right? Like people always want to fight Floyd, and he's like he's not out to get nobody. But I think one punch from Floyd Mayweather is probably gonna kill you if you're not ready for like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you've never been in the ring with somebody who really understands how they can just snap your arm in 2 seconds, like. That it's nerve-wracking, like wrestling with like rolling with people that really know how to like, oh yeah, I can put you in a Kimura real quick, and it's like,
Oh yeah,
you could die being in a Kimura almost, like it's just like little things that, like Costa is saying, like I don't want to kill nobody, but if I will, I have to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like it's more self-defense than anything.
yeah. Also, I just want to make this point. I see this argument with like Floyd fighting these like MMA guys, or Jake Paul fighting these MMA guys. There's a reason they always do a boxing match.
Yes.
There's a real big reason they always do a boxing
Absolutely.
match.
Yeah.
If we had a rematch where Connor, and Floyd were in the cage, they'd have to call the cops.
No, like for real. I have to agree.
He'd hit him with a low kick, several low kicks, numb his leg, high kick, take him down, and just beat on him.
I don't disagree with that whatsoever.
Like, yeah. But
That's why boxers box and UFC do UFC.
So, if someone gets into a fight and they lose, should they run to boxing or should they run to a mixed martial art? What is the great equalizer in a street fight? Boxing or mixed martial arts?
Well, it depends. People always say jiu-jitsu and wrestling doesn't work in a street fight. To a certain extent, I get that point because you don't always want to be on the ground in a street fight because then you can get jumped.
The Tims are coming.
The Tims are coming from other people into your head. That's a way to think about it. But I do think it's in terms of like if you're having a fair fight with someone, I think it's the ultimate equalizer. I think like
Boxing wise?
Like if you're grappling, like wrestling or
okay.
jiu-jitsu or judo, any of those. If you do any of those, I think that's the ultimate equalizer because you're able to use the ground. You're able to use the reason it's so effective is because you're using gravity. Think of it that way. That's why like wrestling, you're using gravity against someone. So it's hard to fight someone when you're being like you have nowhere to go. You have the earth behind you, under you. That's why I think it's the ultimate equalizer. Street fight, I don't know. Boxing's cool. I always found kickboxing way better though. I think kickboxing's way more effective. I think if you hit someone with a low kick, they can say, all right, I'm good. Like if you ever been hit like right here where your nerve is,
Yeah.
and it numbs your foot, so you get a dead foot, so like your foot just stays like that. Yeah, no, that's a good night.
Or get kicked in the stomach real hard.
Kicked in the stomach, kicked in the liver.
Those don't feel good.
Like, there's a reason, like, now, if you look at UFC, like, back in the day, guys didn't utilize leg kicks as much. Now, you have to be able to use the leg kick if you're in the UFC. And you see a lot of guys just get their front leg because they have, like, they're either orthodox or they're southpaw. Their front leg just gets eaten up, and then it becomes just so swollen they can't even, like, walk on it.
Like what happened to Connor?
That happened to Connor. That happened to Max Holloway, unfortunately. That happened to a bunch of guys.
What happened to Canelo? Why did he lose? He lost me money.
Oh, that was bullshit. No, Canelo's still the best ever. Not the best ever. Best right now. Best pound for pound right now.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
The only reason Canelo lost is because Canelo was so good at his own weight category, he just kept moving up. He kept putting on the pounds, put on the muscle, moving up. He found where his limit was. At a certain point, height, reach. The guy had like 4 or 5 inches on him, like good reach on him too. Like, yeah, no, like there was a certain point where size does matter. And the guy, shout out to that Russian dude. I'm sorry, I feel terrible. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But he fought a great fight, and he knew how to beat Canelo.
He just stuck to his game. He kept it real mellow. Didn't try and go overboard. He
has that Soviet style where it's very like jab heavy, and then you clinch. If you ever watch Klitschko's growing up, very jab, clinch, jab, clinch.
You know your stuff. What's your street record?
I don't know. Straight record.
Oh, how many fights you win?
I'm undefeated. How about that sound?
Were you undefeated? Dang.
I've never had to go home crying.
Okay. What's the number? All right, big.
Dude, I don't know. Do you have a record?
I do have a record. All
I don't
right,
keep
you got
track
some
of this
big
stuff.
dick energy over there.
I do not keep it. Do you keep a record?
No.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Robert, how many
What's your
people
record?
No, I don't keep
Yeah, you
numbers.
do.
I think it's 35, 5, and 3.
That's very hilarious. I'm undefeated as well.
4-0?
4.
I don't like fighting.
Yeah, it's like 2-0.
I'm a good number.
What's a good number?
Just know it's like.
What's a good number? I don't know what a good number
I
is.
don't
What's a
know.
good number?
Suez Costa lets me know his
See,
number.
I never fought growing up because, the neighborhood I grew up in, if you punched a kid, the cops are going to get called.
What's Philadelphia, boy?
Yeah,
You raised.
no, I was born in like the white side of Beaverton, or not born. I was raised in the white side of Beaverton. If you hit a kid, his mom was gonna call your mom and probably get the cops involved, even though you're just a kid having being a kid and all this stuff. So
East side of Beaverton,
try to stay
born
away
and
from that
raised
stuff.
on the lakeside when I spend most of my days chilling.
Exactly.
I tried to remix it. I was gonna make a reference to what's something white over there.
The duck pond.
Yeah, skipping some rocks. The ducks thought it was cool. Started making trouble in my neighborhood.
That's good. That's good.
Hey, I'm trying to get better.
Wow.
But yeah, did you get what you wanted, Robert, out of that?
I really wanted an arm wrestle between both of you, but it's okay. We'll have other competitions. But
It'll be fine.
but no,
We can do a whole decathlon thing. We'll
would
do sprints. He'll probably get me in that.
I'll
We'll
beat
do
him,
like a
it's
bench
okay.
press contest, maybe. Yeah.
I might
How much you
win.
benching?
Dude, I haven't benched in years, actually.
I bench like once a month. Robert would definitely probably win that one.
Oh,
He
What?
benches
I was
every day.
I was
Benches and
doing
squats every day.
Last time I benched, I was doing like the 2 plates, like 225. What was it? Yeah.
See, this is why
I think I could do more now.
This is why I feel like we're a very tough podcast. We're like, we did podcast wars. Like we were covered. We got sticky with the glickies. We got sticky with the glickies. We got decathlon. Yeah, woo, yeah. We got wide receiver decathlon. We got I'm a bench some Sally shit.
I know Robert lifts actually.
How much do you bench, Robert?
Robert probably lifts more than me.
I think. See, here's the thing. I don't have anyone to help me, so I don't know what my max is.
Man. You're too scared. Come on.
I'm not gonna die.
I don't know what my max is either.
I don't know what my max is, but like, I have this like gym guy I'm hella cool with, and like I just go by like plates, and I don't go by like the actual number. And I'm like
the 45.
I'm like, oh yeah, I go like 245s and like a 35 and a 5. He's like, oh, are you like at 315? I was like, really? I was like, because like for me, I think 300 is like 3 plates, and he's like, no. So I'm probably like maybe like without anybody's help, and I'm being very generous. I say like 325, 315 without anyone's help.
That's very impressive,
man.
That's a very. Most people say if you can do 225, that's like you can like you're like
you know they rep that out in the NFL. That's their combine.
The 225, right?
225.
Yeah, 225 is what they like.
That's what they rep out, and people do it like 15, 20 times.
Like 10 or 12.
That's very impressive if that's true. That's very impressive.
How many places 225?
245 plays.
Oh, 245 plates?
245 plates, and then because it's those 245, or sorry, the 245s plus whatever the bar weighs, which is like another 45. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do that.
So you're just calculating this now, like you never thought.
I could do 12.
You never like what's a big bench press? You never, as a kid growing up.
That's crazy.
No, I could do 10, 12. But like if I'm like in the zone, I can do a smooth 12. Like I'll start struggling around like 9, but I can rack it on a lower rack. But like on like average days, I'll go up to 8. I'm like, all right, cool. Then I'll like latch it. But like if I needed to, I could probably do the extra 3 to 4.
This motherfucker, he big.
Not really.
I mean, no, he's got a good chest. I see it. I see it.
Yeah, I bench like once a month.
Yeah,
like.
See, this
I'm trying to get back into it. Like I've never benched before really in my life. Like I've done 225 once, and I was in a junior in high school. Yeah. Just to try and impress people. Like, yeah, I got this. Did it once. I was like, oh, never done it again. Yeah. Like I never tried to really do it again. Like,
see, my thing is, with this guy, we have a total connection. Like he's like we have the same like build, and like yesterday he peeped me on game because I told him, because I see people who like squat like once like 500 and stuff like that. I don't want to do that. Or I see people bench press like 3 plates and do that once. And I told him I just want strength. And like I explained to him like the car thing, and I was like, I was able to hold the car longer than I thought I could, like just on strength. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna help you build just complete.
You about to become
strength.
a bodybuilder?
No. Now I said it costs like some ridiculous like.
Yeah.
That dad, dude.
My homeboy, that's what he does. He's a professional bodybuilder. He literally just won a major tournament in Arizona, not Arizona, somewhere, Denver, something like that.
Dude, it's such a big culture. Like the whole, a guy I do jiu-jitsu with, he's a bodybuilder, owns his own gym, and then one of the people that goes to his gym is a power lifter. Both of them do jiu-jitsu. And yeah, dude, they talk about it 24/7, like what they're eating, what they're lifting, what's their routine, all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, that sounds god awful.
Nah, I want to be able to, if his leg is under a car, being like, all right, Goss, you got 5 seconds. You got 5 seconds. I could do the best I can.
Yeah, one person I really would love to get on this show. She's one of the world's strongest women. A good friend of mine. And she won World's Strongest Woman in 2019 in New Zealand, and then she's on the USA World's Powerlifting team. Yeah.
Okay.
Super dope.
I'm gonna arm wrestle her.
Super dope.
Robert, stop.
Super strong.
No, I'm dead ass serious.
Super.
Okay, I count on the podcast.
On the podcast.
Super strong. Super dope. Like you would be like, huh? Like yeah, she's buff, and she's a rugby player too.
All right. If she beats me, we got podcast is over.
Oh,
I'm doing this for the show.
She gonna beat you.
She's gonna beat you. How about you do the podcast in your underwear or something?
She gonna beat you. Bro.
In my underwear.
Yeah.
I'll think of a consequence. Tell her she's got to challenge her.
All right, I'll reach out to her.
You
Yeah.
misogynistic man.
No,
Assuming you could just beat the woman because she's a woman.
no.
Not because.
I raced a fucking Amir. I was like, I don't give a fuck what your triple jump challenge was. I like.
But he was a jumper.
Here's my thing.
She's an actual lifter.
So I would, if it was a regular dude, I'd be like, I'm gonna challenge you. Here's my thing. I think what keeps people like, for me, like humble is like I like different challenges where like I'm just kind of like I know you're better than me at this, so I would want to challenge you to see where I'm at and how I can even surpass my limits. Where like
feel it.
losing to Mir was like, all right, this is how I can surpass my limits. Now I have more track knowledge and I can apply this to be better. So it don't matter who it is, unless it's swimming, then you always gonna win. You always gonna win. So
You don't like swimming?
huh?
You don't like swimming?
No, I can swim better now. I just gotta learn how to tread water because like I don't panic as much.
Damn, so that's why I never came swimming at my pool.
I love.
I invited you, and you're like, nah, bad.
I love swimming.
unless you gonna save my
love
life.
swimming,
I
dude.
love swimming. Love it.
Y'all gonna teach me how to swim?
Dude,
tread water?
I feel like water's like second air for me, dude. I love water.
All right.
Love being in water.
I
Okay,
feel that.
Aquaman.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Being weightless, just like, yeah, no, there's something special about being in water.
I can't call you Aquaman.
It's I don't know. So like for me, like
Stingray.
I almost drowned as a kid, and that was because I'm the youngest of like a whole bunch of siblings, and you know they like to torture you, and I couldn't swim as a kid, and so they used to just throw me in, and then like push me down, and all the above, you know what I'm saying, and you don't know how to swim, and so I like begin to learn how to swim from that process, like so that I can get out of those situations, I can be okay, and now like. Man, I'll go 25 feet and be cool and just swim and tread swim in the ocean and just tread water, like lay on my back, whatever, like the whole 10, yeah.
I don't fuck with the ocean, though, I will say that.
I almost died, and I went the exact
I respect
opposite.
the ocean. I don't try and fuck with it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's too many things in the ocean for me.
I agree.
I
with
went
what
deep
you
sea. I went deep sea diving in
Okay.
New Zealand in the ocean.
Really?
And yeah, for sea urchins. And like
You didn't see no mermaids?
You see no sharks?
I caught a shark, but I didn't see any.
Caught a shark.
Yeah, I caught one. I went DC fishing first, and then we went swimming in the ocean.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was in the Caribbean, and I just remember walking, and there's just so many crabs at the bottom. So you like step, and it would just move, and I hated that. Just feeling like at any moment something's just gonna
It's a love respect thing, man.
get my toe. Yeah, no, I have a little bit too much respect for the ocean.
So that's why great white sharks don't like us, huh?
What?
I caught one.
Huh?
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to make a racial joke. Great white sharks, you catching one? Uh-huh.
Because they're white?
Yeah.
Okay.
See what you
No,
did there?
I caught a hammerhead shark.
Oh, damn, race. Anywho, interesting. I think to wrap everything up, AJ had something for us. AJ, did you have something from
From the gram.
the gram that you want to bless us with?
Just to kind of turn the table. I know we've been talking about kids earlier.
Yeah.
This is kind of more on
What a
the
turnaround.
flip side of it. There's a post I seen on Instagram about a guy who has 33 kids.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a lot. I ain't gonna front. That's a lot. But for me, it was more of the comments. I started going through the comments and seeing like the backlash that he received and like the trash that he received online. And it was like it was mainly from women, which was crazy to me. And there was some from men, but there was like one or two women that were like, you guys are part of the problem with what you see. Like you guys are just seeing this guy with 33 kids and saying he can't take care of them. He's not doing what he's supposed to do, whatever. And someone posted an article about his situation. For me, my biggest thing came out of it was like, there's a point where you can't just blame the man. Like, right? Like a man is going to do what a man is going to do, right? But a man can't create a kid by themselves. A woman can't create a kid by themselves. So there has to be some sense of togetherness in that aspect of sleeping together or something, right? In order to make this kid. And for me, my thing is like you got to blame the women just as much as you blame the men. And I'm sorry, ladies. Some of y'all choose men who have 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 kids and get mad that he doesn't raise your kid. Well, at the end of the day, you knew this dude has 6, 7, 8, 10 kids, and you still messing with this dude, regardless of the situation. And so that's why it's not only on the men for me; it's on the women and the men. And I say it out of respect for both parties, but like, if you don't know how many kids somebody got and they lying to you in that aspect, you probably shouldn't be sleeping with them. What y'all think?
I'd say City Boys up. City Boys up 1,000 points. We out here wilding and profiling.
That's so funny. Yeah, I'm with Arthur on this one. I think. Do you guys think it's easier to blame the man in that situation because a man can always reproduce, versus like a woman has like a timetable?
Ooh.
I've heard that argument that like men can still have kids when they're like in their 80s or whatever.
Maybe not in their 80s, but those kids will come out with some.
I think of like Theo Vaughn. You guys know the comedian Theo Vaughn? Mm-hmm. He's a very funny comedian, but I think his dad had him when he was like 75. So he knew his dad for like 10 years, and his dad died. Maybe 15 years, and then his dad died.
But that's probably why he ain't all right. No,
you know what? He's not. He's a
God!
He's a stand-up comedian, which to do that job, you got to be a little loose in the head. But
all right, playing whole games, all right.
Yeah, but no. To answer your question, I think it's on both sides. It's just, I think in life and in everything, it's just easier to blame the man.
I want to answer your question to answer Arthur's question.
Please do.
To me, it's more like más o menos when it comes to that. Where like,
what does that mean?
It means either or.
Oh, okay. Más o menos?
Yeah.
Is that what más o menos? I thought meant so.
Yeah, either or.
So, either or, same thing, I guess.
Huh?
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't know he was over here speaking Spanish.
I'm with my people,
He was his people.
I'm with my people. I'm a poppy.
He's been inside plenty of them.
I bet you are.
I'm a poppy in some households.
Interesting.
Go ahead.
I think right now, and us as guys, as men, we deserve some of the blame when it comes to a lot of these different things. I think, I don't want to say this is the age of the woman. I just think it's more easier in our society to blame males because you're right. We are responsible for a lot of shit. It's almost kind of like when a woman talks about her preferences, she's like, oh, I don't want this, or he can't be this height, or this is like that, or he's got to be in the gym. But if Robert's like, oh, I'm not a fan of Lizzo, or you hate black women, I'm like, I just don't like Lizzo. I just want a fit woman. What do you mean they aren't beautiful? You don't like the Sports Illustrated model that's out there? Actually, the Sports Illustrated, plus size. She is fine. Jordan Peterson, you was capping.
Wasn't she dating Lil Wayne or something?
I don't know. I didn't.
No, that's a different person.
Jordan Peterson was capping. That guy.
He woke up.
He ain't no
10.
cheat.
He woke up on 10. He woke up on 10, and it's just kind of like I get, or I can say to answer Colin's question. I can get why women need to say that and things like that, but it's not. But I see that. It's just for me. It's just wild. Going back to who pays for the first date.
Ooh.
And I always want to remind people, and I got this from so many podcasts I've watched, and I just my whole life being is about balance and being as balanced as I can. And I actually do believe this. Women have access to sex. They are the gatekeepers. They're to the helms deep to like.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
But men are access to the relationships and marriage if you're in a heterosexual type of build, because we hold the keys to that. And I'm not talking about not the simps. Not the Sims. We're talking about the man that you gonna marry.
No, I literally heard someone talk about that. How women have sex with whoever they want, but men get to marry whoever they want.
Mm.
Absolutely. I think that's crazy. I've never even put that into like a real perspective.
And then hopefully that answers your questions of like whose responsibility. It's definitely both their responsibilities.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
Even by me saying that, but it's almost kind of like I don't fault the women or the woman who wants to have sex with that person, but it's almost kind of like going back to our theme of like being adults, where it's like if you're talking to a person who has kids, it's time for you to jimmy up or like have the conversation before, because I can be upfront. I've had conversations with people before, be like, what happens if this happens?
Mm-hmm.
Not to saying that, I recorded them so I can take this to the court of law, but I'm being like, but like literally, truly asking like, what's our responsibility here? Are you willing to take that risk? Or I'm not willing to take that risk. So just, I'll take the sloppy toppy, the number 2.
The number 2, please, with fries.
Exactly. And then I'll, because I'm not a bad person,
But it's also, I think it's like a roller coaster where it's like where the blame falls. Right now, we're at the men's era. A couple years back, I feel like, maybe when our parents were growing up, it was more like the women got more of the blame. And who knows when those tides will turn, when that roller coaster moves a different way.
I don't know if I agree with that.
You don't know? Okay.
I think you have to. For me, I would like explain more. I don't get it.
I don't think I agree with that. I think the blame is always put on the men, not always, but a majority of the time, allegedly, to the case of like when it comes to sexual intercourse. I think even when you think of like the whole rape, right? Like I hate to bring this up. Like I hate to bring this into this context of what we talk about. But like if a man says he got raped, he gets looked at as a weirdo. But if a woman says there's a
Grapes, right?
there's a big situation that comes upon in that, right? Like, or even domestic violence, right? Like in a heterosexual partnership, if a man is saying he got physically assaulted in domestic violence, they're like, whatever, most of the time. But if a man puts his hands on a woman, and this is a subject maybe we can have with a woman on the show. But I just feel like men are in most relationships are the target when something goes wrong. And maybe because I feel like women have multiple opportunities to leave and can find something new faster than a man can. And so they always want to push blame on someone else or vice versa. Like, I don't know. That's kind of.
This is the hat. I agree with you to a certain extent because one, I am a dude, so I see my eyes and lens as a dude, and I have my experience. It's almost kind of like this. As a guy, I think for me, I have a better sense of responsibility of the power that I hold. Or like, I know I get different treatment as a man, so it's kind of like certain dudes will talk to females, or oh gosh, I've been indoctrinated. Certain dudes will talk to a woman. I'm sorry. I'm auto-correcting myself on. I've been saying that for years, but certain dudes will talk to a woman disrespectfully, one-on-one. But the presence of another male, they'll be like, they'll act regular. And my thing is, as a dude, I take a responsibility of like, sorry, Peter Parker, always Uncle Ben, great power comes with responsibility. And also when it comes to, I think where it has to move be where like women, you have a lot of power when it comes to, because you're right, a lot of people are going to believe you more than a man because men have perpetrated that and they have lost the validity of to be right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to saying that a man can't be right, but in that realm, that happens to a lot of women. We've been out multiple times and dudes are just wilding. And it just comes to where it's kind of like, as a woman, great power comes great responsibility. I know a person made you upset, but like, do you really gotta stress the truth? You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just that aspect where, like, I think for me as a dude, like, I never fault a person, but like, it's that understanding. So I think that's the part where I'm like, I agree to a certain extent.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Well, this might get us canceled, but anywho,
You say that at the end of every episode. Literally. Yeah. Literally at the end of every episode you say that.
the reason why I say that is because I sometimes hear people talk. Like, I'll end with this. I was talking to some people, can't give any more context than this, and I brought up Dave Chappelle.
Oh. And they blew their minds.
They were so upset.
Oh my God.
And I asked them, "Did you watch it? Did you watch the special at all?" No, I just read the article.
You don't like Dave Chappelle?
No, I love Dave Chappelle.
So it's just kind of like, for me, it was just like,
No, that's the world we live in. And I think we feel that way because specifically of where we live region-wise. Love the Northwest, love Portland, but so many people here are so phony because they're too scared to say what they think because they're too scared of the repercussions or what people might think of them.
I agree with that. I agree with you.
we be saying shit on here.
Like, if
mean,
more
I agree
people were
with you.
just honest and, like, said what's on their mind, they'd feel so much more free. They'd enjoy their life. You wouldn't have so many, like, passive-aggressive people in the city. We'd all just be happier.
Well, I'm gonna
Tell
say
someone to fuck off. Why not?
I'm gonna say what's on my mind. You're showing thigh on this episode. What's close
I am,
up?
unfortunately.
Look at them thighs, y'all. Look at them thighs. Woo! Get this man out of here. Ladies, he's single. I wish I could zoom in more. Well, if you like what we're
He
doing,
like travel nurses, long walks on the beach.
expose him! Hey, expose him back. If you like what we're
That was
doing, please like, comment, subscribe.
$hero Rob.
Yeah, Bob.
Bob is the Cash App.
We're building a studio. We're on Instagram. We're on Apple Podcasts. Lookhere.frir. Play No Games on YouTube.
Subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get alerted when we post new videos.
Who are you right now?
You ever watch a YouTube video now? Every YouTuber says that at the end of a video. If you like my content, subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get alerted when I post a new video.
And this is why your seat will forever be goated. You're crazy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. AJ, church announcements. Laces, what's going on?
I ain't got no church announcements.
Okay, Cost, do you have church announcements?
I actually do. Hey guys, this week fuck no, this is gonna get posted after. Never mind. It's this weekend.
Just say it.
This weekend there's a soccer kit swap going on at the Toffee Club on the east side. If you want to come and buy some jerseys, trade some jerseys, it's cool. I think it's something we need more in the city, more soccer culture. So yeah, it's going to already happen by the time this posts, but come out to the Toffee Club anyways. Great place, great culture.
I want a Jersey Day.
You want to go? I'll go Sunday if you want to go.
Toffee Club.
Toffee Club.
Oh, it's Memorial Day weekend. You might. I'm actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Sunday.
Pull up
We have to
Shaw
get time,
Toffee
yeah.
Club.
Okay.
All right. If you like what we're doing, thank you so much. We are out. Peace.
Probably wondering if I think of you. Sorry, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, I'm for the bag right now. Yeah, for the bag that I never had. Yeah, you probably mad right now. Yeah, I got a 2-piece now. Shit, I think they call them groupies now.